Imagine if you fell in love with a girl and later found out she's from the future and a robot. That's exactly what happens in the life of a boy named Jiro. The movie begins in 2008, where a boy named Jiro was wandering around, feeling sad because he always celebrated his birthday alone. One day, he decided to buy himself a birthday gift. While shopping, he remembered seeing a beautiful girl in the same mall on his previous birthday. The girl had smiled at him for no reason. This girl had shoplifted clothes from the mall without anyone noticing and kept quietly looking at Jiro as if she already knew him. She even ordered food for both of them, which left Jiro worried about the bill since it would cost a lot. He started imagining how many dishes he'd have to wash to pay for it. Just when he was about to panic, the girl said she'd pay the bill, but instead she ran away without paying. Jiro followed after her, and the restaurant manager chased them both to collect the money. Somehow, they managed to escape. After escaping, the girl asked Jiro to close his eyes and told him she was from the future. Then she disappeared. When Jiro opened his eyes, she was gone, leaving him heartbroken. Meanwhile, in the present time, a strange thunderstorm began, with lightning striking one spot repeatedly. When the storm stopped, the girl reappeared, exactly 1 year before she met. She walked straight to some thieves who were busy with stolen items. Seeing her alone, they surrounded her, thinking she was an easy target, but she grabbed their leader and threw him away with incredible strength. Then she went to the mall, grabbed a bunch of clothes, and knocked out the managers with electric shocks. At the same time, Jiro was celebrating his birthday alone again at the same restaurant as last year. Suddenly, he saw the girl and was shocked. This time, she was acting differently. She was singing and moving her head to the music. She poured cake and champagne on Jiro, and before he could react, a man with a gun started shooting. The girl shielded Jiro and saved his life. The shooter wanted to burn the whole place down, but the girl threw a bottle at his head and rushed at him like lightning. She disarmed him, made him drink all the gasoline he was carrying, and threw him out of the window with ease. When the shooter was vomiting gasoline, a burning cigarette fell on him from above. In an instant, the shooter was engulfed in flames and turned to ashes. After that, Jiro and the girl returned to his room, but as soon as they got there, Jiro started to remove Bikini Poster from room. At that moment, something strange happened. The girl's eyes started glowing, and a holographic figure of a person appeared. That's when Jiro realized she wasn't an ordinary girl, but an advanced robot. She had been sent by Jiro's future self to protect him from an upcoming disaster. Future Jiro explained to present Jiro that a major accident was about to happen, and this robot would save his life. Hearing this, Jiro was completely shocked. A little while later, as Jiro tried to approach the robot, she gave him an electric shock that knocked him out. From the next day onward, the robot started staying with Jiro every moment. When she noticed Jiro was running late for class, she picked him up and ran at lightning speed. She was so fast that it felt like the world around them was in slow motion. Thanks to her, Jiro made it to class just in time. That evening, Jiro dressed her up like a regular girl and introduced her to his friends. But after drinking a beverage, the robot system malfunctioned, and she started spinning her head 360 degrees like in a horror movie. Shocked, Jiro quickly took her away while his friends stood there, completely stunned. The next day, while Jiro was at work, a truck driver fell asleep and the truck sped toward a child. The robot rushed in like a bolt of lightning and saved the child just in time. After spending so much time with the robot, Jiro started developing feelings for her. He began seeing her as his girlfriend and occasionally tried to get close to her. However, the robot was strict and would punish him for any inappropriate behavior. Having such a powerful robot as a girlfriend also came with perks. For example, one day when Jiro dropped some money under a bus, the robot simply lifted the entire bus and said, "No problem, take your time, babe." She even helped Jiro study by projecting lessons through a projector in her eyes. In return, Jiro took good care of her, but he couldn't figure out where she disappeared to every night. When she returned, her face often had dirt on it, leaving Jiro confused. What he didn't know was that she spent her nights saving people in danger. One night, she rescued everyone from a burning building just in time. One day, the robot told Jiro that he should visit his village because, in the future, he regretted not going back there when he was older. Hearing about his village, Jiro broke down in tears. His childhood village had been completely destroyed in a devastating earthquake, but the robot assured him that they could travel back in time to visit the village before the earthquake. Without delay, they decided to visit the village. When they arrived, Jiro was amazed to see everything exactly as it was in his childhood. He sees his childhood home and his mother there. He even finds a photo he had hidden as a child, which was like a treasure to him. Seeing the photo brings tears to his eyes. He thanks the robot from the bottom of his heart. After that, they return to the present. Jiro begins to wonder if the robot has any feelings for him, but it's just his imagination. The next day, he sees on TV that the police have surrounded a school because a terrorist has taken children hostage. Suddenly, a girl rushes inside at lightning speed, grabs the criminal, and throws him out the window. The police arrest the terrorist. Seeing this, Jiro is thrilled because his girlfriend is a superhero. Now, Jiro falls completely in love with the robot. He tries to kiss her, but the robot doesn't have any feelings. This realization hurts Jiro deeply because he knows the robot will never feel the same way about him. But love doesn't follow logic. To make the robot jealous, Jiro starts flirting with another girl. However, the robot doesn't react at all. When Jiro tries to kiss the other girl, she slaps him hard. Seeing this, the robot picks up the girl and spins her around before tossing her into a nearby pond. Jiro gets furious and starts yelling loudly. They return to the place where they had said goodbye the previous year. Jiro tells the robot to close her eyes and angrily walks away. After that, Jiro returns to his normal life but starts feeling the robot's absence. Despite his warnings, the robot secretly ensures his safety from a distance. She even sends him a pet cat to help with his loneliness. One day, while Jiro is at home, a terrifying earthquake strikes. The entire building starts shaking. Frightened, he looks out the window and sees buildings collapsing one after another. His own apartment begins to crumble. Just as he is about to fall, his robot girlfriend arrives and rescues him just in time. The entire building collapses. Jiro hugs her tightly and apologizes, but the danger isn't over yet. The entire city is being destroyed. People are running for their lives, and massive buildings are crashing to the ground. The robot girl tries to take Jiro to a safe place. Suddenly, a huge truck comes speeding toward them. The robot pushes Jiro aside and takes the hit from the truck herself. At first, Jiro thinks she's gone, but within seconds, she emerges unscathed. Overjoyed, Jiro hugs her. Then the robot notices a building behind them collapsing. She realizes there's no time to escape. Using all her strength, she pushes Jiro toward a car, ensuring he's safe as the entire building crashes down on her. But Jiro has no time to grieve as the ground starts shaking again, splitting open beneath him. Somehow he clings to the edge, desperately trying to survive. But his robot girlfriend wasn't gone yet. Using all the strength in her arms, she tried to pull herself out of the rubble. Her lower half was completely broken, but she dragged herself toward Jiro using her hands. She grabbed his hand and helped him climb up. Seeing her condition, Jiro was terrified. The robot told him to save himself and run away, but Jiro couldn't even think of leaving her behind. Seeing this, the robot smiled softly and said she now understood the true meaning of love. Just then, another earthquake struck. The robot pushed Jiro aside once again as a massive rock fell on her. Jiro cried out her name, his voice echoing through the chaos. When the earthquake finally stopped, Jiro searched desperately through the rubble for his love. He found one of her hands and hugged it tightly, but the robot had sacrificed herself. Jiro sobbed, trying to wake her up, but it was no use. 61 years later, we see that Jiro has grown old. It turns out that after years of research, he managed to repair the robot and restore her memories. They fell in love all over again. Together, they celebrated Jiro's birthday. During the celebration, the robot playfully tapped his head, just like old times. Later, they sat hand in hand watching the sunset. That's when Jiro took his final breath. Many years later, a young woman visited a museum and saw a robot on display that looked just like her. During an auction, she bought the robot at the highest price. Later, as she accessed the robot's memories, she began to fall in love with Jiro. Determined, she decided to travel back in time to meet him. This young woman was the same one we saw at the beginning of the movie. She had fallen in love with Jiro the moment she saw him, but couldn't say anything because she knew she had to return to her time. That's why she had told Jiro to close his eyes so that he wouldn't see her tears. When Jiro was searching for the robot in the rubble, the woman had been there because, in truth, she never went back to her time. She had made the decision to stay in that timeline and spend her life with Jiro. With this happy ending, the movie ends here. So have you ever truly loved someone? If yes, don't forget to share your story in the comments.